Hey, how's it going, guys? Listen, I have a question for you. How many of you have found a weight loss program that you saw results from, but after you were done, you started to see results start to fade and maybe regain some weight? Now, it's normal. It happens to a lot of people, and as a matter of fact, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry because of that fact. Now, why do you think that does occur? Perhaps it was the removal of the program that allowed for a little lack of accountability to yourself, or perhaps it was the lack of why or understanding of the why in terms of physiological changes to your metabolic rate. Now, this video is going to tackle a few things. It's going to show you why that weight gain happened so quickly when you decided to go from programmed nutrition to perhaps eating intuitively. And two, how come it was difficult to lose weight the second time? I've got a lot of questions on that. I followed the program, I went off for a few weeks, and I got back on. And aside from the psychological aspects of getting back on a diet, what actually is occurring physiologically that is making it a little bit more challenging? I hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions, please let us know. Appreciate it. Thanks. Total daily energy expenditure, TDEE. This is the amount of calories that you need to sustain life and all of the energy that is required in the gym and at work or throughout the day. That's the total makeup of your metabolic rate. Calories. How many calories are we going to be consuming throughout the diet? We'll start at 2,800 up here. What's occurring to body fat? Hopefully, if we're doing a fat loss phase, we're decreasing body fat. And then what happens to muscle mass during the process as well. Now, I want to talk about TDEE first, okay? And that is pretty important to understand because generally in the beginning phases of a diet, we see TDEE raise up a little bit, and not always, but for the most part, we'll see it raise up and then we'll start seeing a decrease in total daily energy expenditure. And this is just from the dieting phase. Our body's actually responding through adaptations along the way to not lose weight. Our bodies don't necessarily want you to lose weight, and we have to overcome those plateaus in weight loss by making changes to your diet or perhaps exercise. So, as this TDEE is reduced, we have to overcome that with changing calories. Now, calories in could be from anywhere. So calories you're actually consuming or the energy difference between energy out and energy in can come from exercise too. So we're just talking about energy, straight energy here. So say we start up here at 2,800, and as we plateau, okay, we hit an adaptation here. We have to make a decrease, and then we plateau, okay? We have to make a decrease here, and then we'll keep coming down. So these are metabolic adaptations. I'll just put MA next to them. It's important to know that. We talk about trying to overcome these all the time, either when you think we're at a set point or there's at a metabolic adaptation, then make changes to calories in, or perhaps changing up exercise. So now, this could be at 2,400, okay, to make more changes. And this one was set at, say, 2,200. And say at the end of our diet, we're at 1,600 calories. 1,600 calories. The next we're talking about is body fat. What's actually occurring here? Hopefully it's going down, right? So we're going to start up high, and as we bring calories down, okay, we see a decrease, and you'll see that these little plateaus here. I'm not trying to go into the 2,400, but it's going to actually plateau with the calories. Obviously, that's what we're gauging this off. Is our body fat loss and muscle. What's occurring to muscle? Now, I know it sounds great to say we're going to gain muscle mass and lose body fat, but while we're in a hypocaloric state or we're eating less than we're actually taking in, our job is to maintain muscle, okay? And that's going to be through interventions like training. So we are going to see some muscle loss throughout a dieting phase, especially if it's a long-term one. The goal is to maintain or slow down the rate of that through progressive weightlifting. So I'll just make a slight decrease in the muscle mass here. Okay. You know what? I'm going to throw one more on here, guys. It's going to be weight, body weight. Okay. So as this goes down, it's going to kind of correlate with our calories. It's going to kind of go with our plateaus. Okay. And say we started at 182 pounds. And at the end of our diet, we were at 155 pounds. Okay? So, as we decrease body weight and body fat, obviously the caloric needs suppress as well. Okay? So now, where we were once at 2,800 calories maintaining, we are now sitting at 1,600 calories, and we're going to call that a plateau. We'll say it's we're maintaining because we've set a series of adaptations. And obviously our body weight's a little bit lower now. So, after our diet, the first thing that usually occurs is that our food, okay, our calories, start to have a rapid increase, okay? And it's not just from the food that you take in, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. Okay, so now, say we're starting to eat 2,800 calories again, okay? Now, if we're eating 2,800 calories and our metabolic rate is only that of 1,600 calories, okay? Or where our metabolism's at only requires about 1,600 calories to sustain weight because of body weight and perhaps a reduction in total daily energy expenditure. Perhaps you're not performing well. Perhaps a reduction in work capacity opposed to when you started, okay? You're not training as intense as when you started here. And then we're having a reduction in muscle mass. Okay, so now our muscle mass is even at its lowest point. This may come up a little bit, okay, as we start to bring back calories. Not a lot. But what also is going to occur when we start rapidly infusing calories is our body fat's going to come back up. Okay? And perhaps the difference between body fat and muscle may be greater depending on how long this is actually going to occur, and we'll talk about that as well. So, now when we're talking about work capacity, okay, the one thing that I noticed, and it's a little bit longer timeline than the immediate, because for the first few weeks after a diet, some people may be able to maintain body weight. Okay, they might be able to maintain body weight down here, and then all of a sudden it starts to creep up on them. But they will see some changes in body fat. Now, the biggest thing of that is it water fluctuations or perhaps compliance or adherence. So, say you were doing a total of 4,000 calories of exercise per week, okay? And we'll say 1,200 of that was just from cardio, right? And we're just doing straight weightlifting, so we're not doing a high amount of cardio as it is. And we decrease that. So we just eliminate the 1,200 calories. And now we're at 2,800 calories. Okay, so that's also going to play a role in your aerobic capacity, your work capacity, because it won't happen overnight. What's going to happen is over a 6-7 week period, we're going to see a decrease in aerobic capacity. Okay? And what's going to happen is we're going to see that translate or transition into your weightlifting, where 200 pounds on the squat for 10 reps is really starting to feel a little bit more challenging. Maybe you're breathing a little bit heavier. Maybe you're not able to work as hard in the latter parts of the program. Okay? So these things are all going to start piling up on itself, and that's usually a later stage in the game. Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to do cardio. However, the intensity of the program can determine how many calories you can consume. So if you don't have a lot of cardio, and you're working at a desk job and you don't have a lot of expenditure there, that's going to determine how many calories you actually consume. Okay, and that's through spontaneous movement. It's a huge part of your metabolic rate. So, why is this happening so fast? Because we're not allowing our body enough time to adapt to this point, okay? So just like we adapted coming this way, we need to do the same thing on the way up. So, our post-diet, that's an uncontrolled post-diet, okay? If we do it properly, okay, what we want to do is we want to take our calories, okay, whether it be from food or the amount of exercise, and we want to slowly start bringing our energy balance upward, okay, slowly, okay? If we bring this up slowly, we are going to see a rise in total daily energy expenditure because now we're a little bit more well-fed, Okay? Whereas before, we had energy expenditure was something like this. Okay? So as we bring up calories, our daily energy expenditure increases. Maybe we're working a little bit harder in the gym. Maybe we're moving more during the day. Our calories, I apologize, I actually brought the calories out here, but yes, calories are going to increase here. Our body fat levels will not raise quickly. Maybe we sustain for a little bit and we start to see a slight rise on body fat, and hopefully, if we reach a point where we're maintaining both our weight and our body fat, okay, that's what we call maintenance level. Okay, and in muscle mass, should see a slight return and then a leveling off. Okay, if we do this properly, we are able to sustain what we call like a recovery period of the diet afterwards, where we're slowly bringing the body fat in, okay, because it's going to happen, and we're staying at a sustainable level while bringing our calories up and bringing up our TDEE. Now, to take this one step further, if I will flip this chart here, and I wanted to gain muscle mass, well, I'm going to find where I can gain weight, slowly increase muscle mass, slowly, by keeping body fat at a relatively low period, okay, a relatively low standpoint. So rather than trying to increase my calories and my body fat shoots through the roof, and I only see a rapid gain in muscle mass, I don't want a huge gap between body fat and muscle mass. I'd rather keep these a lot tighter. Not only will it be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing throughout the year, it will be a lot easier when we go and cut again. We don't have to drop as much muscle mass as we are in a hypocaloric state. I hope this video was informative. If it was a lot, I'm sorry. I got a little bit on a tangent. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to message me. Thanks.